Today, we need to talk about part 2 of Jamie Lynn's interview with Call Her Daddy because I have a lot of thoughts and they aren't good. This interview ended up being released late, legal letters were filed by Britney, I feel like changes were made to the episode, I feel like things were cut, things were deleted, something isn't adding up. It's a mess, so let's get into it. Before we get into the tea, I just want to let you guys know today's video is sponsored by Raycon. Go to buyraycon.com/teaspill or click the link in the description to get 15% off your next purchase. It's a new year, and if you're like me, your New Year's resolution might be to lead a healthier lifestyle and get into an exercise routine. For me, that means waking up and going for a walk before starting my day. As hard as starting a new habit is, using my Raycons have made it so much easier. Right now, I'm using Raycons everyday earbuds, and they're so comfortable in your ear, you hardly even notice they're there. There's nothing worse than going for a run and having your earphones pop out and constantly having to readjust them. The everyday earbuds come with optimized gel tips to get your perfect fit, so when you're shaking things up by running or dancing, your Raycons will stay secure in your ear every time. They also have 32 hours of battery life and 8 hours of continuous playtime. That means I can use them on my morning walk and continue using them throughout the day on one charge. They also come with a built-in mic, so you can take calls just by pressing one button on the side. The best thing about Raycon's everyday earbuds is they're half the price of other premium brands without sacrificing audio quality. Raycon also offers a 45-day return policy, so you can try them out completely risk-free. It's no wonder Raycon's everyday earbuds have over 48,000 5-star reviews. Right now, you can get your own pair of Raycons for 15% off by going to buyraycon.com/teaspill or by clicking the link in the description. Thank you, Raycon, for sponsoring today's video, and let's get into the tea. So, a few days ago, Alex from Call Her Daddy announced she was interviewing Jamie Lynn Spears. Alex was immediately hit with tons of backlash for giving Jamie this massive platform to sell her book using Britney's name. Even fans of Call Her Daddy were disappointed with Alex. Call Her Daddy is supposed to be a podcast all about empowerment and girls supporting girls. Yet here we are, giving a platform to Jamie Lynn so she can further exploit and make a profit from Britney's name. Let me just remind you, Call Her Daddy is supposed to be a sex podcast. What does Miss Jamie Lynn have to do with Call Her Daddy? Well, actually, apparently a lot. Not only has Alex never once posted in support of Free Britney, but she's also followed by Lou Taylor herself. A lot of people didn't have very high hopes that this interview would actually get to the truth. We all knew it was going to be Alex reading off a page of pre-approved questions and Jamie sitting there answering a bunch of rehearsed answers. And that's exactly what it was. There was no way that Lou Taylor was going to let Jamie sit this interview knowing everyone's hanging off of every word she's saying without knowing exactly what's being asked. The Good Morning America interview took place at Lou's house, and you just know she was sitting right behind Jamie during the Call Her Daddy one, making sure Jamie didn't say anything too incriminating. We've already talked about part 1 the other day, and honestly, it was nothing groundbreaking. The stuff from the trailer was supposed to come during part 2. Alex teased a clip from part 2 where Jamie claims to have a text message from Britney that completely clears her name.
Can you pull out your phone and read that recent text from Britney?
Do I have my phone? Hold on, your bigger seat. That seat right here.
She says to me,
Well, Britney and her legal team weren't having any of this. Jamie Lynn, the girl who wanted to handle her family issues offline because it was embarrassing, was now going on one of Spotify's top podcasts to air out her sister's text messages. And Jamie ended up being hit with a cease and desist filed by Britney's legal team. Dear Miss Spears, as you know, I represent your sister Britney Spears, and I write at her request concerning the above reference matter. We write you with some hesitation because the last thing Britney wants is to bring more attention to your ill-timed book and its misleading or outrageous claims about her. Although Britney has not read and does not intend to read your book, she and millions of her fans were shocked to see how you have exploited her for monetary gain. She will not tolerate it, nor should she. You of all people should know the and wrongdoing Britney had to endure during her conservatorship after initially growing up with a ruinous alcoholic father. In fact, your own book repeatedly states that your father spent most of his life in that cycle of ruinous behavior. His bouts of drinking caused me periods of torment and sorrow. As I have previously stated, Having endured a 13-year conservatorship that stripped her of civil rights and fundamental liberties, Britney will no longer be bullied by her father or anyone else. Britney was the family's breadwinner, and she also otherwise supported you. Publicly airing false or fantastical grievances is wrong, especially when designed to sell books. It's also potentially unlawful and defamatory. Michelle Obama famously said, "When they go low, we go high." And to Britney's great credit, that is exactly what Britney is going to do, for the time being. You recently reportedly stated that the book was not about her. She takes you at your word, and we therefore demand that you cease and desist from referencing Britney derogatorily during your promotional campaign. If you fail to do so or defame her, Britney will be forced to consider and take all appropriate legal action. Your representatives may contact me if you have any questions. Sincerely yours, Matthew S. Rosengart. Britney also responded to the Call Her Daddy interview in multiple Instagram posts. In the first post, Britney addressed Jamie breaking down and saying she felt like she didn't matter when she was growing up.
It's like my whole life, I kind of felt like I didn't matter. So it's like I just wish that mattered.
Britney responded and said, "In life, a lot of people say, 'Do I matter?' Try eating alone for 4 months, morning, noon, and night, Jamie Lynn. I ask myself every day, does anyone care? Do I matter?" I would honestly be very interested to see your pretty face in the setting I was forced to be in and ask yourself, do I matter? I didn't get to cry. I had to be strong, too strong. So yes, you do matter, and don't you ever think for 1 second you don't. She also posted a photo dump with screenshots of her thoughts on the interview. She wrote, "I flew home to Jamie Lynn on the couch watching her TV shows right after Justin and I broke up. I was a ghost there. I had worked my whole life and I didn't know how to be served by mama. Sit there and get served chocolate milkshakes with perfectly crushed ice with the secret chunky sugar? Meanwhile, Jamie Lynn is 12. She indulges with a TV for hours, then goes lay out on the raft at the pool. I'm in shock because this was never my life. Justin's family was all I knew for many years. Things were different now, and Jamie Lynn had a new Nickelodeon show. All I remember saying is, damn, how the hell does a 12-year-old land a Nickelodeon show? Well, I never got my iced chocolate drink. I mean, yeah, I'm grown up, right? But then maybe I might need a little support. It was a People magazine cover. The people show up as Jamie Lynn says. I was scared. My mama was on pain medication and could barely hold a conversation in the house because her and my dad split and she was more messed up than anything. I remember her sitting on the floor in a conversation and she never got up. And I'm sorry, Jamie Lynn, I wasn't strong enough to do what should have been done. You and mama right across your faces. And why do I say that, you selfish little brat? Saying how weird and dumb it was that I bought a house for mama? She was so proud, and you told that interview girl that it was just weird. Like, I guess I will just walk in these halls. Why did you say that? And why watching at your length interview? Really? 2 hours or more? And the topic about the knife, which is ironically the only lie you've ever told in your whole life. Why is that conversation 20 minutes? And the most degrading to me? Oh, but you don't want to keep talking about it because you don't want to hurt anyone's feelings? Yet you let it linger forever. You felt unsafe with me and weird. You, Jamie Lynn, my mouth was on the floor the way you talked back to mama when I came home. Shocked out of my mind. You were hateful to her, and I knew mama had been lazy with me, but I'm sorry. You deserved way worse than a purse knocked at you by mama. She should have whipped your ass. Poor mama took it too, just like I did in the end. She worshipped you too much, I know. But if you came out of my stomach, I would have popped your little ass. When I came home and your little friends all thought I wasn't cool, you felt bad for me in the breakup? Hell no, you didn't. You and your friends all dyed your hair like Christina Aguilera and no longer wanted to play with me anymore. I never shut you out ever. I get it. You were 12, but you were hateful to mama, being cool with your stupid dark hair. You can point it however you like, but dear child, you shut me out when I needed you the most. Writing your book saying I wasn't like your mom anymore? No, you hurt me. Now, as you can probably guess, at this point, it wasn't looking too good for part 2 of the Jamie Lynn interview. Part 2 was supposed to drop on Wednesday, but then Alex deleted the trailer off her Instagram. She also went quiet on social media for a while leaving a lot of people confused. Alex ended up updating her Instagram story with a bit of a twist. She wrote, "Part 1 was filmed 7 days ago. The beginning of part 2 is also from the interview last week. However, a lot has happened since then, which means we're about to unpack even more." But Alex still promised the episode was still on and it was going to be posted later that night. Until Alex came back a few hours later with an issue. Apparently, Alex was having problems uploading the episode. Alex posted a screenshot of her editing the footage, and it showed her in a different hoodie from what was originally supposed to be part 2. Right away, everyone was guessing that the cease and desist Britney sent probably scared them, and they had to re-record parts of the interview. A lot of people felt like Alex was playing this off as an update, when in reality, they needed to film this update because so much needed to be cut out. Alex went on to post, "It's coming, calm yourselves," with a picture of a text message scribbled out. People just thought it was way too convenient for Alex to suddenly be having issues uploading. Of course, technical issues do happen, but something just seemed off. Someone messaged Alex and said, "They definitely had you cut out a ton last minute, huh?" And Alex said, "No one can ever make me cut anything out of my podcast." The issues Alex was having went well into the night, and she couldn't get someone from Spotify out until the morning, so she just gave up until then. She wrote, "Interview girl takes an L," directly referencing when Britney called her the interview girl in her Instagram post. A lot of people didn't like this. They thought it was a bit shady, especially since Alex is clearly seeing Britney's posts and know how distressing this is for her. But that didn't matter to Alex because the next day she finally posted part 2. To my surprise, episode 2 was only 43 minutes long. Alex originally said the interview was over 3 hours long, with the first episode being an hour long and part 2 including the most recent update. Most people were expecting for a near 2-hour episode. The first half of part 2 was what was originally filmed, yet it only totaled 22 minutes. The rest of the episode was the update. So unless part 2 was only going to be 22 minutes, huge parts were cut out. Right away, the episode starts off by talking about the conservatorship. Jamie claims that she didn't even know what a conservatorship was, and all she thought was that her family was going to help Britney out. Alex asked her why her father was picked as a conservator if he was already struggling to parent according to her book. Jamie told Alex that she would have to ask the court system that question. She said for her entire adult life, all she knew was Britney being in a conservatorship, and she didn't know it was oppressive until Britney confided in her during a trip to Hawaii back in 2016. Jamie claimed she gave the number of a few judges that she knew, and she also talked to Britney's lawyer for her. She told Britney that all she would have to do is move to a different state, and within 6 months, the conservatorship would be dissolved. She asked her to come back home to Louisiana to live with her, but Britney never took her up on her offer, and Jamie didn't understand why. Jamie says talking to Britney's lawyer ended up being a huge mistake. She said it blew up in her face, and the lawyer just went back, talked to the people behind the conservatorship, which then made its way to their dad. At this point, Alex was like, "Well, why haven't you explained this to people that are dragging your name, saying you never tried to help Britney?" And Jamie said she didn't think she had to because she always knew she did what she could to help. She claims the only reason she was grouped into this whole conservatorship is because Britney came to her and asked her to be a trustee in case anything happened to her. Jamie said at first she did agree to do it, and that was documented, but she never followed through because it was too much work and she would have to get way too involved in the conservatorship. Jamie read out a document that pretty much said Jamie never completed the minimal task it took to become trustee, and until she did, the person already appointed as trustee would be staying the same. Alex said she wanted to play devil's advocate and asked Jamie if she knew the conservatorship was so oppressive. Why didn't she speak out on social media, especially since Britney didn't have access to a phone? Jamie says as far as she knows, Britney did have a phone and she even communicated with her on that phone, so she doesn't understand why the internet thinks that. Alex goes on to say that in Jamie's new book, she provided a text message that pretty much clears her name, and she asked her to read it aloud on the podcast. This part is just so scripted. Alex acts all serious and dramatic, asking Jamie if she can pull her phone out, and they make it this whole dramatic build-up. Jamie reads the text message that apparently completely clears her name, and it's very underwhelming.
Why not? I mean, like, you know what? Everybody else gets to go on social media and say whatever the F way they want. I might as well just actually say something truthful.
And you're saying that you have a text from your sister that's clearing
And
your
like
name.
what breaks my heart is like we were talking about the kids and stuff, and like I thought things were cool, and then all of a sudden like the next day I wake up to hate message on social media. And I'm just like, what's going on? She says to me, I know it's not your fault, and I'm sorry for being so angry at you. Although I'm your big sister, I need you more than you need me, and always have.
Alex asked her if she's ever reached out to Britney and asked her to clarify on social media that Britney's posts about her family have nothing to do with Jamie. At this point, Jamie got really strange. She turned around to someone off camera and asked them if she could respond. The person off camera says yes, I guess, because Jamie claims Britney told her that she keeps her kids out of it, so it's fine. She feels like her relationship with Britney is very hot and cold. One minute, Britney will text her saying that she's sorry and send gifts to the house, and the next minute she'll block her and go back on social media to post. Jamie says it's hard for her because she loves Britney, but Britney's messing with her emotions and her life. So that brings us to the 22-minute mark, when the episode should have been an hour long without the last-minute update. Alex cut to the update to go over all the drama that unfolded on social media between Britney and Jamie. Jamie says she tried to reach out to Britney to talk privately, but she hasn't been able to contact her. Alex asked if she could go into greater detail about how exactly she tried to help Britney escape the conservatorship, but Jamie just kind of repeated the stuff she already said. Talking to the lawyer, contacting judges, and asking Britney to move in with her. Alex asked Jamie if she has more proof because people still won't believe her. And that's when Jamie pulled out some messages. She showed a text from 2020 which read, "Please read important info that you should know because it seems concerning to me. Mom and her lawyers have been in constant contact with Sam about everything. And I first found that strange since you and Mom are not even speaking. I did not understand why Mom would be involving herself or inserting her opinion to your lawyer, especially if you did not ask her to. I quickly realized Mom's focus has been on Dad and her personal attack on him instead of on you and what you need. I think she has your lawyer fighting more for her agenda than yours, and it's only delayed your progress and cost you more money. If Sam tries to deny working with Mom's lawyer or his constant contact with Mom, then we will all get on the phone and I'll be sure he admits the truth because I have read the messages and heard the conversations. He also made so many mistakes at his last court date, which is why you were denied once again. I don't know if he did such a bad job on purpose, but it's strange that a lawyer would leave so many holes in his petition, which made it an easy denial. He was trying to create an ongoing fight with someone who isn't trying to fight. And it's clear Sam loves the attention he's getting from your public legal battle, and he goes out of his way to keep his false narrative going so that he can continue to put on a show in the courtroom to get all the press he wants from your court dates. And he absolutely loves all the attention he gets from the Free Britney fans. He thinks it's his fan club now, which is so weird to me. Also, I will never forget the time we were in Hawaii and I was trying to help you figure out your conservatorship situation and you called Sam for his help and he sat there and listened to us. But as soon as we hung up, he immediately called Dad and said that I needed to be watched because I was trying to take down the conservatorship. He turned on you in a second, which is why I never trusted him. Dad wants to resign and he has for some time now. He would like to quit wasting time and money on all of the lawyers and be able to directly speak with you to assure no one is speaking for you, and that he will make his resignation process go a lot faster because Dad has been aware of the relationship between Mom's lawyer, and Sam. So he just wanted to speak to you himself to make sure everything being said and done by them was truly what you wanted. But Sam will not allow Dad to speak to you at all, which only drags out this legal process out for you, and that clearly benefits Sam because he gets more money the longer he can keep this going, which is why I believe Sam is supporting Mom and her lawyers, creating more reasons to stay in the court over money and other issues that have nothing to do with Dad being removed as the conservator of your estate. I actually spoke to Dad, and he is more than willing to agree to drop all this extra legal crap and extra court dates that they keep creating only for you to keep getting denied, letting you down each time. If you're willing to speak with him and start the actual legal process of getting what you want, then Dad is on board with that as well. I have nothing to gain or lose in this situation, no matter what happens with the conservatorship, but I'm sick of seeing this whole thing just keep going in circles. So I figured I should see what I could do to help. I am upset that it's led to me not speaking to Mom, but I think it's the right thing to do for now, so that you know everything and aren't completely being fed. I have no reason to send this to you other than I love you, and I'm trying to be helpful. I'm here for you if you need anything. Love you. I have really been digging to figure out how to help you, and I've looked into the details of whatever treatment place they put you in that I never knew about. I was able to find out that Sam, your lawyer, was the one that looked into it and I believe toured it and said it was the best place for you to go. I don't know if you knew that, but I was pretty surprised by that information. I'm going to keep trying to contact you and help you, even if you never respond. I have proof of all of this as well, so you can have all the information you need. Happy birthday, we love you. Please call me. Alex asked Jamie why she never brought this up when she did their first interview together in person, and Jamie said she was just scared. She said she was afraid for her personal relationships, and she was also afraid legally. She talked to her lawyer before showing Alex the text, and she felt like she had no other option but to share them. So guys, let me know what you think about this entire situation. Do you find it strange that the first interview was cut short and replaced with this update? Do you think the text that Jamie Lynn showed proves her innocence? Let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you next time.